Okay, welcome everybody to PokerSesh. Hope you guys are enjoying the misfits there.
Sure. So basically, if you ask me like what it is, obviously the answer is going to be lots and lots and lots of little things. But if I were to kind of sum up all those things, I would call it basically maximally exploitive poker. Okay.
Right.
So the first thing obviously is make sure your fundamentals are very sound. I mean, which is basic advice. I'm guessing everyone here is, if they're a poker enthusiast, I'm guessing they've probably spent some time, reading books and all those things. But it goes, quite a bit beyond that. I'd also make sure you always clearly define to yourself what the purpose of a bet, a check, or raise is.
Right.
Like the two questions I ask myself on every street of every hand I ever played is one, am I ahead of my opponent's range, yes or no? If the answer is yes, then the follow-up question would be, will he call with worse?
Right.
And basically, just using that two-question system basically kind of builds you a decision tree of things to do. So if the answer is, I'm ahead of my opponent's range, but he won't call with worse, then therefore you should check. If the answer is, he will call with worse, then you should be betting or raising. A third follow-up question to that would be, if I believe I'm behind my opponent's range, is this a good spot to bluff? Can I credibly represent a hand that I believe my opponent can credibly give me credit for, that I don't think can call a bet of a certain bet size because of this scary texture and whatnot.
Right.
Other things, hand reading. Hand reading is the most important thing in my opinion in poker. Think about this. If you knew your opponent's cards every single hand, you would know exactly what to do every single time.
That's true.
So basically, hand reading is basically like the holy grail of your decision making, So constantly try and figure out what people have, like even if you're not involved in a pot, try and see if you see a hand developing between two players, try and test yourself. See if you can figure out what player A has, what player B has, and hopefully if the hand goes to showdown, you can confirm or validate what your read was. Did I correctly put my opponent on a range? Or like, whoa, I was really off. Why was I so off? Like, what caused me to believe he had this type of hand when in fact he had this type of hand, So hand reading. And then also
there's more bullet points. Oh, yeah, keep going. Fire through.
Yeah, sure. So, and then also just pay attention to the game. Lots of people just have their noses buried in their phones, and there's so much information being just given away at the table. Like poker is a game of information, and basically your job is to give as little away as possible while trying to, get as much from your opponent as you can, And so basically, just watch what hands are revealed at showdown. If a guy is showing down king 3 suited after he went on the gun +1 or 2, then that's the person who you should be isolating a lot, And
right.
Also pay attention to the range variation of their positions. So make note of how their range widens or narrows based on whether they're under gun versus a middle position versus approaching cutoff button.
Right.
Try and figure out what new hands are now being added to their range as they move from early position to mid position to later position.
I've often said that a king blocker is better than an ace blocker. What do you think about that? This is minutia, but whatever. Some people argue with me. They think the ace blocker is better, but I actually think a king blocker is better. But what do you think about that?
It's interesting. Well,
you can count the combinations. If they're raising all of their weak ass aces, the king is actually going to block the hands that will 4-bet you, but it's going to leave all the weak aces in their range that they will fold to a big 3-bet.
Right.
That's my feeling. Whereas when you have the ace blocker, you're actually blocking a lot of the hands that they're going to fold to the 3-bet.
Right.
Well, there you go. I broke your brain.
No. No, don't worry. My brain, it will not be broken. It will not be broken. I'm cyborged out. I'm cyborged out. Well, So, like, the opening range, so basically, like, in general, people don't have a ton of kings in their 3-bet calling range.
Right.
Like, people, thing is, at 5-5 and stuff, most people don't have enough 3-bet bluffs in their range, so most openers that open, like, king queens, king jacks, king tens, right. They very often fold those to 3-bets and whatnot. Right. But they might be, and they fold like ace jack and weaker. So most of their calling range with aces is basically like ace kings that they don't 4-bet.
And you still block ace king with the king.
Right, I understand.
Yeah. All right.
I think you can. I mean, I think you can use both. Don't get me wrong. I hear you. I think they're both viable, and ultimately, the profitability of either play is going to come down to how your opponent responds to it. I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah.